Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the month of July. So you know, we will be going dark next Saturday for the first Saturday of August. But then we'll return in 2 weeks. I'm shooting a web series, but we are going to go ahead and get started. And we have with us today myself, Sheila, John, Danielle, Ted, Bill, Henry, and Mackie. We'll start off with the monologues round, and we, according to the determined order, Elizabeth was going to go first. She is not with us yet, and I was second, so I am going to start. Give me a second to get the the wheel open, and I will do the first monologue, and then Bill is next. So myself and then Bill. So Bill, you're on deck, but let me get the wheel up for myself to see what I'm going to do. There we go. Okay, so I will be performing I get to do a Willie's monologue. Beatrice, the fire is in mine ears at the end of Act 3, Scene 1. So give me a second here. Okay, here we go. What fire is in mine ears? Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt, farewell, and maiden pride, adieu. No glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedick, love on. I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love me, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in a holy band. For others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it better than reportingly. Okay. So Bill, you're up next.
Oh boy.
And so Bill is up, and let's see, Alex is still not with us. I hope he gets better soon. Actually, I was wrong. People asked. I think Bill said it wasn't his voice; it was his something with his eyes. He had trouble reading scripts because of that. We hope he gets better soon and joins us. But so Alex is not. So Bill is, and then Henry is on deck. Henry, you're on deck after Bill. But Bill is going to perform. This is what we started last week. I think John spun it, and usually we take it off the wheel once it's gone. But since John was unable to finish, I went ahead and put it back on the wheel. So unless you have any objection, I think we can go ahead and do it, since I think John had technical issues and wasn't able to finish it. So are you still okay with doing this one, right?
Well, the only thing is I don't know this play at all.
Okay.
You could set me up and give me an idea.
This is after the long scene where the forces that were loyal to Arthur's claim to the crown versus John's were besieging Angiers, and then they make a go through all kind of threats both ways, and then they it's the end of the scene. Philip the Bastard is when they've made peace, and he's reflecting on the mad world where people don't stand on principle; they do whatever is convenient. Where they say, "Well, why don't you marry John's niece, and that will be part of and accept her dowry, and that will be the how we make peace, and Arthur will relinquish Arthur's claim to the throne," and he's reflecting on that. I don't know if that helps.
It does. Thank you very much. What is the first words of whatever?
Mad, I think Mad World, Mad Kings, like it says there. Philip the Bastard. And it's the very Act 2, Scene 1. It's the very end of the scene when everyone leaves.
Oh, yeah, just as you said that I found at the very end. Okay.
He's reflecting on what happened. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. Mad world, mad kings, mad composition. John, to stoop Arthur's title in the whole, have willingly departed with a part, and France, whose armor conscience buckled on, whom zeal and charity brought to the field as God's own soldier, rounded in the ear with that same purpose changer, that sly devil, that broker that still breaks the pate of faith, that daily break thou, he that wins all of kings, of beggars, old men, young men, maids, who, having no external thing to lose but the word maid, cheats the poor maid of that smooth-faced gentleman, tickling commodity, the bias of the world who of itself is prized well, made to run even upon even ground. To this advantage, this vile drawing bias, this sway of motion, this commodity makes it take head from all indifferency, from all direction, purpose, course, intent, and this same bias, this commodity, this bawd, this broker, this all-changing word, clapped on the outward eye of fickle France, hath drawn him from his own determined aid, from a resolved and honorable war to a most base and vile concluded peace. And why rail I on this commodity? But because he hath not wooed me yet, not that I have the power to clutch my hand when his fair angels would salute my palm, but my hand, as unattempted yet, like a poor beggar raileth on the rich, while as I am a beggar, I will rail and say there is no sin but to the rich, and being rich, my virtue then shall be to say there is no vice but beggary, since kings break faith upon commodity. Gain be my Lord, for I will worship thee. And
very nice. It's probably fortunate that it's King John is certainly not one of Shakespeare's most well-known plays. It doesn't surprise me that it was spun by somebody that was unfamiliar with it. But in my opinion, it's underrated. And it's funny, we just I can't remember if Sheila joined us that week, but Eager Beaver Shakespeare did that one, the read through of the whole play. So it's funny, if we hadn't just recently done it, I might not have been familiar enough myself to have given you that synopsis that helped. But I hope it did help, and whether or not that was the reason, you did very well with it. So
I got lost in the fact that there didn't seem to be any end to the sentence. It went on and on and on.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so anyway, Henry is up and Maggie is on deck. So Henry and then Maggie. Okay, Henry is going to do... Imogen, Cymbeline, Act 3, Scene 2. Oh, for a horse with wings.
Is it? Oh yes.
You got it?
Shall I do the whole speech or just from "Oh, for a Horse with Wings"?
Oh, if it starts earlier, you can go there if you're comfortable. Again,
Okay.
sometimes I put a more famous line from it, but I don't, which
Yeah.
is not
Right.
necessarily the first, even though I usually do it that way. So whatever's comfortable for you. So whenever you're
Yeah.
ready, go ahead.
Who? Thy lord? That is my lord, Leonatus. Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that knew the stars. As I his characters, he'll lay the future open. You good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable. That is one of them. For it doth physic love. Of his content all but in that. Good wax thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike. Though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you. Oh, the dearest of creatures would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cumbria, at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you, follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and your increasing in love. Leonatus Postumus. Oh, for the horse with wings! Hearst thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of mean affairs may plod it in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then, true Pisanio, who longest like me to see thy lord, who longest, let me bait, but not like me, yet longest, but in a fainter kind. Oh, not like me, for mine's beyond, say, and speak thick. Love's counsellor should fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the sense, how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how may we steal from hence, and for the gap that we should make in time for our hence going and our return to excuse. Yeah. But first, how get hence? And should excuse be born or e'er be got, we'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee speak. How many score of miles may well we ride twixt hour and hour? Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, very nice. So next up, we've got Maggie, and then Shelia is on deck. So, Maggie, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
And Maggie is going to perform. Okay, the St. Crispin's Day speech. And it started. You like me? I can always give you the cue. Say, "Oh, that we had but one half of the men in England that do no work today."
Okay. Don't take it away yet, because I'm going step by step. What was it? Henry V. Where is it?
Oh boy, I closed it. What is it? Act 4. I'm no. Let me. Act 4, scene. Scene. I think 4. I believe scene 3.
Maybe the English camp. That's where it says the setting is on MIT Shakespeare. I have to be in a different screen, so I can't see you.
Yeah, Act 4, scene 3. Let me create here.
Act 4. Okay. Scene 3, the English camp, and it was, is it King Henry V? Is he?
Yeah.
There's a
So
long speech
it
before.
starts with
There's several of them.
what's he that wishes so, my cousin Westmoreland. And I'll give you the, if you, when we find it, I'll give you the cue. I'll be Westmoreland and I'll take myself and say that, and then you respond, and I'll
Okay,
take myself off the street.
I
You
have
found
it.
it? So I'll
Yes, I
start
did.
with, I'll say, oh, that we had, okay, and then I'll kick my over. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that we now had here but 1/10,000 of those men in England that do no work today.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enow to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share the honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my coz, wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks, would share from me for the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more. Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand tiptoe when the day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is Saint Crispin. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, these wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day.
Yeah, there's where I wish that I was wishing we could here we had the if I was using Zoom rather than StreamYard, I would say right when you finish is when I would switch from speaker view to gallery view, so it could be everyone roused by the speech. But anyway, that was great. So I thought even just myself should be both the instigator to, I was both the instigator to the speech and the reaction to it. Okay, great. So we have Sheila up next, and then Ted. Ted, you're on deck, and Sheila is up. So Sheila is going to do. Bolingbroke, bring forth these men. Richard II, Act 3, Scene 1. I believe his speech is the whole scene. It's when
Good Lord, it is. It starts with "Bring forth these men." Can you give me a little bit of context so I know what we're coming in on?
Yeah, this is the context. Is the Bushy, Bagot, and Green. It's two. I can't remember which one is the one that's not there, but the three. Basically the sycophantic followers of King Richard. Basically in the Civil War, they've been captured, and he's and they're about to be beheaded, and he's basically telling them off for blaming them for why Richard has become a tyrant, is that you've misled the king, and so it's a major defeat for Richard that Bolingbroke has captured these two supporters of Richard in the Civil War and is about to have them beheaded.
Got it.
Okay. He says, bring forth these men, basically, to bring them forth to execution. Have you found it ready?
Got it. I'm there.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Bring forth these men, Bushy and Green. I will not vex your souls, since presently your souls must part your bodies. With too much urging your pernicious lives, for 'twere no charity yet to wash your blood from off my hands. Here, in the view of men, I will unfold some causes of your deaths. You have misled a prince, a royal king, a happy gentleman in blood and lineaments, by your unhappied and disfigured clean. You have, in manner with your sinful hours, made a divorce between his queen and him, broke the possession of a royal bed, and stained the beauty of a fair queen's cheeks with tears drawn from her eyes by your foul wrongs. Myself, a prince by fortune of my birth, near to the king in blood and near in love, till you did make him misinterpret me, have stooped my neck under your injuries, and sighed my English breath in foreign clouds, eating the bitter bread of banishment, while you have fed upon my seigniories, disparked my parks, and felled my forest woods from my own windows, torn my household coat, raised out my impriest, leaved me no sign save men's opinions and my living blood, to show the world I am a gentleman. This and much more than twice all this condemns you to the death. See them delivered over to the execution and the hand of death.
Okay, nice. So we have Ted is up next, then Danielle, and I saw Eleanor just joined us, which is so then Eleanor and then John. So let's see, Ted up, and Ted is going to perform. Let's see what says I play the villain. This and the I Hate the War monologue are his two great evil monologues. So Act 2, Scene 3, it's toward the end, I think, after all the chaos that took place at the party where Cassio just lost his position as a result of everything that Iago put in motion.
If I can fasten, is it if I can fasten one cup upon him?
No, it's if I can fasten but one cup upon him is when he's laying his scheme to get Cassio drunk and get him in trouble and get him dismissed from his lieutenancy. And then it's after that's happened, he's reflecting on it. I'm pretty sure that the line I put there is how it begins. What's he that says I play the villain is how it later on in the scene. In fact, it's almost the very end. There's one little part where Rodrigo re-enters and the two of them have a brief dialogue, but other than that, the scene's over, except...
Yeah, I see it. I got it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go.
And what's he, then, that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give an honest, probable to thinking, and indeed the course to win the Moor again. For 'tis most easy the inclining Desdemona to subdue in any honest suit. She's framed as fruitful as the free elements. And then for her to win the Moor, were to renounce his baptism, all seals and symbols of redeemed sin. His soul is so infettered to her love that she may make unmake, to do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function. How am I then a villain to counsel Cassio to this parallel course, directly to his good, divinity of hell? When devils will the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now. For whiles this honest fool plies Desdemona to repair his fortunes, and she for him pleads strongly to the Moor, I'll pour this pestilence into his ear, that she repels him for her body's lust, and by how much she strives to do him good, she shall undo her credit with the Moor. So will I turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all.
Okay, awesome. So next up, so we have Danielle, Eleanor, and then John. So let's see, Danielle. Danielle, are you still with us? There you are.
I am.
Okay, so Danielle is going to do... Interesting. Go right from Iago, spell his hands to Iago, ran about the state of mind that Iago has brought him to with this. So there, and I think I started with I think the speech is a little bit before the farewell, the tranquil mind, where he it's a very long scene. It's sort of, where he's basically where Iago returns and he's now going more and more crazy with jealousy.
Yes. Is it? Yeah, it's just a few lines long, or should I be putting things together? I don't know if I can with Iago.
You might. Let me see. Maybe I should look. Let me take a look here.
Actually, I think you can probably, yeah, because I don't think he's paying any attention to what Iago says. He's on a roll.
Yeah. So, you know, just use your judgment. If you can combine, make it longer, go for it.
Righty-ho, where is it? Well, I've gone too far now. I need to find that tranquil again. Yeah, I'll take it from just a little before and on a bit, and we'll see how it goes. If that's okay.
Okay. Okay, so whenever we're ready.
What sense had I of her stolen hours of lust? I saw it not, thought it not, it harmed me not. I slept the next night well, was free and merry. I found not Cassio's kisses on her lips. He that is robbed, not wanting what is stolen, let him not know it, and he is not robbed at all. I had been happy if the general camp, pioneers and all, had tasted her sweet body, so I had nothing known. Oh, now, forever. Farewell the tranquil mind, farewell content, farewell the plumed troop and the big wars that make ambition virtue. Oh, farewell. Farewell the neighing steed and the shrill trump, the spirit-stirring drum, the ear-piercing fife, the royal banner, and all quality, pride, pomp, and circumstance of glorious war. And, oh, you mortal engines whose rude throats the immortal Jove's dead clamours counterfeit, farewell. Othello's occupations gone. Villain, be sure thou prove my love a whore. Be sure of it. Give me the ocular proof, or by the worth of man's eternal soul, thou hadst been better have been born a dog than answer my waked wrath. Make me to see it, or at the least so prove it, that the probation bear no hinge nor loop to hang a doubt on, or woe upon thy life, if thou dost slander her and torture me. Never pray more. Abandon all remorse. On horror's head horrors accumulate. Do deeds to make heaven weep, all earth amazed. For nothing canst thou to damnation add greater than that.
Okay, awesome. Sorry for I wasn't. I encouraged you to go ahead and combine if you felt comfortable, and then I thought you were done, and I came in. I'm sorry if I messed you up for that.
Sorry,
anyway,
I
that was
was on the script, not the visuals. So
okay. So we have Eleanor and John left. Okay, so Eleanor is going to perform. Okay, Constance, you can get. It's interesting. When just earlier we had when Bill did the one where Philip was reflecting on that as a neutral party to self-serving kings that arranged this, and now Constance, has a different reaction to it. She's pissed that that they gave up her son's claim to the throne in that deal. So it's the very start of Act 3, Scene 1. the very next thing after the one that Bill did earlier.
Okay. I'm sorry. Tell me again. Where do I find?
It would be the very King John, Act 3, Scene 1, the very beginning. Did we just lose you?
Coming in as a stutter, unfortunately. Okay. The play.
King John.
The play.
Yeah. King John.
What? Shakespeare.
Act 3, Scene 1, the very beginning.
Hold on one second. My computer is, let's see, King John. Act what? Act 3, Scene 1, did you say?
Scene 1, yes.
Okay. And the first line, why did it go back again? Hold on, my computer is fighting me. Why is it mad at me? It's not mad at me. And the first line is?
Gone to be married.
Okay, I keep on finding it, and then the thing jumps back from the scene to the homepage. Okay, I believe I have got it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. Gone to be married? Gone to swear a peace? False blood to false blood joined, gone to be friends. Shall Lewis have Blanche, and Blanche those provinces? It is not so. Thou hast misspoke, misheard. Be well advised. Tell o'er thy tale again. It cannot be. Thou dost but say 'tis so. I trust I may not trust thee, for thy word is but the vain breath of a common man. Believe me, I do not believe thee, man. I have a king's oath to the contrary. Thou shalt be punished for thus frighting me, for I'm sick and capable of fears, oppressed with wrongs, and therefore full of fears, a widow, husbandless, subject to fears, a woman naturally born to fears. And though thou did now confess thou didst but jest, with my vexed spirits I cannot take a truce, but they will quake and tremble all this day. What dost thou mean by shaking of thy head? Why dost thou look so sadly on my son? What means that hand upon that breast of thine? Why holds thine eye that lamentable room like a proud river peering o'er his bounds? Be these sad signs confirmers of thy words? Then speak again, not all thy former tale, but this one word, whether thy tale be true.
Okay, nice. So lastly, we have John, and then we'll move on to our scenes. John is going to do... Oh, here's a good one. I just added this to the wheel this week. Prince Hal, it's the end of his long scene with Falstaff and Poins, showing what rascals they are, and basically this is his speech to the audience. You know that what history says about me, that I might not look like the king that you know, but I'm basically saying I'm going to reform my ways someday, soon. What he's saying. So it starts, I believe it's the very end of the scene. Henry IV, Part 1, Act 1, Scene 1. I'm sorry, Act 1, Scene 2. Basically his promise to reform, promise to not just to his dad, that comes later, promise to the audience that he's going to reform his ways.
And what are the first words again, please?
I believe it's you know me.
I know you all.
I know you all, yeah.
Oh, okay, we got it right here.
Got it.
Hold reading alert.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go.
Okay, here, let me put my glasses on. I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world. That when he pleased again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at, by breaking through the foul and ugly mist of vapors that did seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work. But when they seldom come, they wished for come, and nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much shall I falsify men's hopes. And like the bright metal on a sullen ground, by reformation glittering o'er my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I'll so offend, to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
Hey, very nice. Okay, so we'll now move on to the scenes. The scene that we had predetermined was Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 3, where the witches deliver the prophecy, and lo and behold, the very first part of it gets fulfilled at the end of the scene when other lords show up and announce that he's now Thane of Cawdor. And I hope everybody got, it's a Word file that I sent out. I'm going to do that from now on. Like, if I have to change the scene, I want it to be an opportunity, as I've said, to have a scene where we don't have one person, where everybody gets a sizable role. So what I've done for this, I've combined, because of the three witches, which one was dominant. So I switched it around a little bit. I made it so there's only 2 witches instead of 3, and they share the lines a little bit more equally the way I did it. And then when Ross and Angus show up, I just combined them into one. So the person that gets that one person delivering the news that Macbeth is now Thane of Cawdor, so that person gets a sizable role. So we've got down to 5 roles: which one, which 2, Macbeth, Banquo, and Ross. And then also Henry converted it to a PDF. He says that's easier for him. And people, let me know in the email if PDF, it's easy for me to convert it to PDF if that's easier for you. So let me know if you prefer Word versus PDF. I'm going to do the same thing for the scene we decided on that we'll do next. 2 weeks from now, on the 14th, we'll do the Henry V scene. And I realize the difficulty with that is the king really dominates that scene. I was wondering if I can tweak that a little bit, do the same thing, take some of his lines, some of his long speeches, and break them up and give parts of it to his uncle Exeter or something, so that we share the lines better. And I'll do the same thing. But so I'm sending my revised copy so we can break up the scene better. So we'll do that scene plus a couple others. If you did not get the Word or the PDF file, please let us know in the private chat so that so that we can make sure that we'll make adjustment if you just flat out can't get it. We'll make sure you're not doing that scene. We're doing one of the others. But anyway, there's 9 of us, so 5 people will end up being in that scene. We need to create roles for 4 more people, so we'll get 2 more scenes, 2 more smaller scenes we'll do. So the first of the other 2 scenes that we'll do will be Othello and Iago. That's Act 3. It's again perfect. What we saw. This is basically the scene that sets in motion the monologue that Danielle did. So there's 2 parts where it's the part 1 before Iago leaves and then comes back and provokes that outburst from Othello that we saw Danielle do such a good job with. So that one, and Act 3 scene. So actually, that means this is Romeo, the friar, and the nurse. So there's a 3rd person. So that means, let's see, we have 10 roles. So 1 person will end up getting going twice. So we'll get a second choice. So once again, the roles we've got so the Macbeth scene, we got which one, which 2, Macbeth, Banquo, and Ross. Then we have Othello and Iago, and then we have Romeo, the Friar Lawrence, and the nurse. Those are the roles to choose from. And let's get the names up here. Remove the people that aren't with us today. Okay, so the first choice amongst those roles will be made by Maggie. What would you like to do out of those roles?
I'll do Macbeth.
Okay, Maggie's going to take Macbeth. Next choice of roles will be made by Eleanor. What would you like?
I go for Iago.
Iago.
Iago, that's act what, scene what?
Act 3, Scene 3. It's the first
Okay.
time. There's two segments where it's him and Othello with each other. It's the first of the two. The one that comes before that monologue that Danielle did. For old time's sake, I think I'll take the Friar. I've done this scene before. I'll take the Friar. Played that role twice on stage, so. Ted, what would you like?
I'll take Ross.
Okay, Ted is going to be Ross. Henry, what would you like?
Othello, please.
Celia, what would you like?
I would like the first witch.
First witch. Yeah, what would you like?
Can I have Romeo, please?
Okay, cool.
Available. Oops.
John, we have the
Banquo?
nurse, the second witch, and Banquo. You want Banquo?
Yeah. Although I'm a little bit in doubt on whether I'm going to be able to get this. I mean, the talk about the PDF and this and that. I mean, is it in front of me someplace where I can click on that, or should I just go to?
John, actually, the changes I made to the scene where I combined Ross and Angus and where I switched the witches' lines around, I don't think that affects Banquo. So if you just use the regular edition of the script to play Banquo, you should be fine.
Okay, and that's Act 1, Scene 1, correct?
Act 1, Scene 3.
Scene 3, Act 1, 3. Okay, thank you so much.
So, Bill, between witch number 2 and the nurse, what would you like to do, Bill?
Did you hear me?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't put you in the stream. What are you choosing?
I said the second witch.
Second, okay. And so that leaves one person is gonna. We got to choose at random who's gonna play a second role as the nurse. Bill's gonna do two female roles. You were the nurse before, I remember, in a different scene. So we'll do Macbeth with Sheila, Bill, Maggie, John, Ted. Then the Othello scene with Eleanor and Henry, and then Romeo and Juliet scene will be Danielle, myself, and Bill for that one. Okay, so let's see. Let's
I'm really sorry. Oops. Is it possible to switch the order a little bit? I think I'm going to get called away shortly after, just after 9.
Okay, so if nobody has any objection, then we'll do the Romeo and Juliet scene with me, you, and Bill
If
first.
that's okay with everyone, yeah.
Okay, so let me put the
Thank
banner.
you very much.
Let's see. Give me a second to get the scene open.
Which scene?
Act 3, Scene 3, Friar Lawrence's Self. So it starts with...
In the chat.
Okay, so it starts with it's just the friar is in the scene alone, and then Romeo enters, and the nurse will enter later. The other people up. I kept those other people in the scene because I thought we were going to do that one first. So have you both found the scene? You're ready to go? Because I'm the one that starts it out. Okay. Romeo, come forth. Come forth, thou fearful man. Affliction is enamored of thy parts, and thou art wedded to calamity. You're muted. Danielle, you're muted.
Apologies.
Okay.
That was the
let's start again.
So
make sure Bill, make sure you're not muted too. Okay, let's start again. Romeo, come forth. Come forth, thou fearful man. Affliction is enamored of thy parts, and thou art wedded to calamity.
Father, what news? What is the prince's doom? What sorrow craves acquaintance at my hand that I yet know not?
Too familiar is my dear son with such sour company. I bring thee tidings of the prince's doom.
What less than doomsday is the prince's doom?
A gentler judgment vanished from his lips, not body's death, but body's banishment.
Banishment? Be merciful, say death. For exile hath more terror in his look, much more than death. Do not say banishment.
Hence from Verona art thou banished. Be patient, for the world is broad and wide.
There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence banished is banished from the world, and world's exile is death. Then banished is death mistermed. Calling death banishment, thou cutt'st my head off with a golden axe and smilest upon the stroke that murders me.
Deadly sin, O rude unthankfulness! Thy fault our law calls death, but the kind prince, taking thy part, hath rushed aside the law and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not.
'Tis torture, not mercy. Heaven is here, where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse and every unworthy thing live here in heaven and may look on her. But Romeo may not. More validity, more honourable state, more courtship lives in carrion flies than Romeo. They may seize on the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand and steal immortal blessing from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush, as thinking their own kisses sin. But Romeo may not. He is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly. They are free men, but I am banished. And sayest thou yet that exile is not death? Hadst thou no poison mixed, no sharp ground knife, no sudden mean of death, though ne'er so mean, but banished to kill me, banished? Oh, friar, the damned use that word in hell. Howlings attend it. How hast thou the heart, being a divine, a ghostly confessor, a sin absolver, and my friend professed, to mangle me with that word banished?
Now, fond madman, hear me but speak a word.
Oh, thou wilt speak again of banishment.
I'll give thee armor to keep off that word. Adversity, sweet milk, philosophy to comfort thee, though thou art banished.
Yet banished. Hang up philosophy. Unless philosophy can make a Juliet displant a town, reverse a prince's doom, it helps not, it prevails not. Talk no more.
Then I see that madmen have no ears.
How should they when wise men have no eyes?
Let me dispute with thee of thy estate.
Thou canst not speak of that thou dost not feel. Wert thou as young as I, Juliet, thy love, an hour but married, Tybalt murdered, doting like me, and like me banished, then mightst thou speak, then mightst thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground, as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave.
Arise, one knocks. Good Romeo, hide thyself.
Not I, unless the breath of heart-sick groans, mist-like, enfold me from the search of eyes.
Hark, how they knock. Who's there? Romeo, arise, thou wilt be taken. Stay a while. Stand up. Unto my study. By and by. What simpleness is this? I come. Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will?
Let me come in, and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Juliet.
Oh. Welcome, then.
Oh, holy friar, oh, tell me, holy friar, where is my lady's lord? Where's Romeo?
There on the ground with his own tears made drunk.
Oh, he is even with my mistress's case, just in her case. Oh, woeful sympathy, piteous predicament. Even so lies she blubbering and weeping and blubbering. Stand up, stand, and you be a man for Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. Why should you fall into so deep an oh?
Nurse.
Ah, sir, well, death's the end of all.
Spakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Does she not think me an old murderer? Now I have stained the childhood of our joy with blood removed but little from her own. Where is she? And how doth she? And what says my concealed lady to our cancelled love?
Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps and now falls on her bed and then starts up, and Tybalt calls, and then Romeo cries, and then down falls again.
As if that name shot from the deadly level of a gun did murder her, as that name's cursed hand murdered her kinsman. Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, in what vile part of this anatomy doth my name lodge? Tell me that I may sack the hateful mansion.
Hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy tears are womanish. Thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast. A seemly woman and a seeming man, or ill-beseeming beast and seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and slay thy lady too that lives in thee by doing damned hate upon thyself? Railst thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth, since birth and heaven and earth, all these do meet in thee at once, which thou at once wouldst lose? Aye, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer abound'st in all, and usest none in that true use, as which should bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax digressing from the valor of a man. Thy dear love sworn, but hollow perjury, killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish. Thy wit, that ornament to shape and love, misshapen in the conduct of them both, like powder in a skilless soldier's flask, is set afire by thine own ignorance, and thou dismembered with thine own defense. Rouse thee, man! Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy too. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings lights upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array. But like a misbehaved and sullen wench, thou pour'st against the fortunes of thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, get thee to thy love as was decreed. Ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. But look thou stay not till the watch be set, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 20,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. Go before, nurse. Commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming.
Oh, Lord, I could have stayed here all the night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is. My lord, I'll tell my lady you will come.
Do so, and bid my sweet prepare to chide.
Here, sir, a ring she bid me give you, sir. Hie you, make haste, for it grows very late.
How well my comfort is revived by this.
Go hence, good night. And here stands all your state. Either be gone before the watch be set, or by the break of day disguised from hence. Sojourn in Mantua. I'll find out your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances here. Give me thy hand. 'Tis late. Farewell, good night.
But that a joy past joy calls out on me, it were a grief so brief to part with thee. Farewell.
Okay, awesome. So hope nobody minded our switching the order a little bit. We're glad that I was able to do so that we didn't have to miss doing that. That was a lot of fun doing that scene again. And Danielle and Bill, you were great. So we're glad we were able to do it before Danielle had to leave us. So let's now get back to the Macbeth scene. And so hope everyone's ready for that. So we'll start with and again we've changed the 3 witches to the 2 witches. So we'll start with Shelia and Bill are on stage before Macbeth and Banquo enter. Okay, so I think we're all set. Actually, I'll take myself out of the stream, and then you 2 witches can begin whenever you're ready. Oops, I didn't mean to hit the wrong key. Okay.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou art kind.
I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know in the shipman's card. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Wearisome nights 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb. Wrecked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand,
posters
of the sea and land, thus do go about. Thrice to thine, and thrice to mine,
and thrice
again to make up 9. Peace, charms,
wound
up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is't called to forest? What are these, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it? Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid to interpret that you are so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
Oh, hail Macbeth! Hail to the Thane of Glamis!
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor! All hail, Macbeth! That shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start, and seem to fear the things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail!
Hail! Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none.
So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth. All hail.
Hail!
Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence? Or why this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting? Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Oh, would that they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king.
and Thane of Cawdor too. Went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing o'er the rest of the selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. And for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What? Can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave them Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
Their trusted home might yet enkindle you into the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truth. Win us with honest trifles to betrays in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. Cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image to unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partners wrapped.
If chance will give me king, why, chance may crown me with
New horrors come upon him. Like our strange garments cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
come what come may, time and hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interin having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Hey, that was great. So lastly, we have the scene with Othello and Iago, and that was going to be Eleanor and Henry. Have you both found where to start?
Othello starts with excellent wretch.
Henry, are you still with us? Henry?
Yes, I am. Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Have you? Because I was busy running the stream for the other two. Did you guys find the proper place to start? Act 3, Scene 3. I think.
Yes, excellent wretch, perdition catch my soul. I think it is, isn't it?
Okay, so that's where you're going to start. Okay, good. Let me.
I like your background, Henry.
Yes, thank you.
Hey.
It's very jolly, isn't it?
So whenever you two are ready, go ahead and start.
I'm not quite ready yet. Just hold on.
Okay.
I'm just
Henry, would you be willing to send me your background by email?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Excellent wretch, perdition catch my soul, but I do love thee. And when I love thee not, chaos is come again.
My noble lord.
What dost thou say, Iago?
Did Michael Cassio, when you wooed my lady, know of your love?
He did, from first to last. Why dost thou ask?
Not for satisfaction of my thought, no further harm.
Why of thy thought, Iago?
I did not think he had been acquainted with her.
Oh, yes, and went between us very oft.
Indeed.
Indeed, aye, indeed. Discernst thou aught in that? Is he not honest?
Honest, my lord?
Honest, aye, honest.
My lord, for aught I know.
What dost thou think?
Think, my lord?
Think, my lord? By heaven, he echoes me, as if there was some monster in his thought, too hideous to be shown. Thou dost mean something. I heard thee say even now thou likest not that when Cassio left my wife. What didst not like? And when I told thee he was of my counsel, in my whole course of wooing, thou criedst, indeed, and didst contract and purse thy brow together, as if thou then hadst shut up in thy brain some horrible conceit. If thou dost love me, show me thy thought.
My lord, you know I love you.
I think thou dost. And for I know thou'rt full of love and honesty, and weighest thy words before thou givest them breath, therefore these stops of thine fright me the more. For such things in a false, disloyal knave are tricks of custom, but in a man that's just, they are close dilations, working from the heart, that passion cannot rule.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn, I think that he is honest.
I think so too.
Men should be what they seem, or those that be not, would they might seem none.
Certain men should be what they seem.
Why then, I think Cassio's an honest man.
Nay, yet there's more in this. I prithee speak to me as to thy thinkings, as thou dost ruminate and give thy worst of thoughts the worst of words.
Good my lord, pardon me. Though I am bound to every act of duty, I am not bound to that all slaves are free to. Utter my thoughts? Why, say they are vile and false, as where's that powerless, wherein foul things sometimes intrude not? Who has a breast so pure, but some uncleanly apprehensions keep leets and law days, and in session sit with meditations lawful?
Oh, thou dost conspire against thy friend Iago, if thou must think him wronged, and makest his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
I do beseech you, though I perchance am vicious in my guess, as I confess it is my nature's plague to spy into abuses, and oft my jealousy shapes faults that are not, that your wisdom yet from one that so imperfectly conceives would take no notice, nor build yourself a trouble out of his scattering and unsure observance. It were not for your quiet, nor your good, nor for my manhood, honesty, or wisdom to let you know my thoughts.
What dost thou mean?
Good name in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse, steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing. 'Twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed.
By heaven, I'll know thy thoughts.
You cannot, if my heart were in your hand, nor shall not whilst 'tis in my custody.
Ha!
Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss, who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger. But oh, what damned minutes tells he o'er, who dotes, yet doubts, suspects, yet strongly loves.
Oh, misery.
Poor and content is rich and rich enough, but riches fineless is as poor as winter to him that ever fears he shall be poor. Good heaven, the souls of all my tribe defend against jealousy.
Why? Why is this? Think'st thou I'll make a lie of jealousy to follow still the changes of the moon with fresh suspicions? No. To be once in doubt is once to be resolved. Exchange me for a goat when I shall turn the business of my soul to such exsufflicate and blown surmises matching thy inference. Is not to make me jealous to say my wife is fair, feeds well, loves company, is free of speech, sings, plays, and dances well. Where virtue is, these are more virtuous. Nor from mine own weak merits will I draw the smallest fear of doubt of her revolt. For she hath eyes, and chose me. No, Iago, I'll see before I doubt. When I doubt, prove. And on the proof, there is no more but this. Away at once with love or jealousy.
I am glad of it, for now I shall have reason to show the love and duty that I bear you with franker spirit. Therefore, as I am bound, receive it from me. I speak not yet of proof. Look to your wife. Observe her well with Cassio. Wear your eye thus, not jealous nor secure. I would not have your free and noble nature out of self-bounty be abused. Look to it. I know our country disposition well. In Venice they do let heaven see the pranks. They dare not show their husbands. Their best conscience is not to leave it undone, but keep it unknown.
Dost thou say so?
She did deceive her father, marrying you. And when she seemed to shake at fear your looks, she loved them most.
And so she did.
Why, go to then. She that so young could give out such a seeming to seal her father's eyes up close as oak. He thought 'twas witchcraft. But I'm much to blame. I humbly do beseech of you your pardon for too much loving you.
I am bound to thee forever.
I see this hath a little dashed your spirits.
Not a jot, not a jot.
In faith, I fear it has. I hope you will consider what is spoke comes from my love. But I do see you're moved. I'm to pray you not to strain my speech to grosser issues, nor to larger reach than to suspicion.
I will not.
Should you do so, my lord, my speech should file into such vile success as my thoughts aim not at. Cassio's my worthy friend. My lord, I see you're moved.
No, not much moved. I do not think but Desdemona's honest.
Long live she so, and long you live you to think so.
And yet, how nature, erring from itself,
I There's the point, as to be bold with you, not to affect many proposed matches of her own clime, complexion, and degree, whereto we see in all things nature tends. Faugh! One may smell in such a will most rank, foul, disproportionate thoughts unnatural. But pardon me, I do not in position distinctly speak of her, though I may fear her will, recoiling to her better judgment, may fall to match you with her country forms and happily repent.
Farewell. Farewell. If more thou dost perceive, let me know more. Set on thy wife to observe. Leave me, Iago.
My lord, I take my leave.
Why did I marry? This honest creature doubtless sees and knows more, much more than he unfolds.
My lord, I would I might entreat your honour to scan this thing no further. Leave it to time. Though it be fit that Cassio have his place, for sure, he fills it up with great ability. Yet if you please to hold him off a while, you shall by that perceive him and his means. Note, if your lady strain his entertainment with any strong or vehement importunity, much will be seen in that. In the meantime, let me be thought too busy in my fears, as worthy cause I have to fear I am, and hold her free, I do beseech your honour.
Fear not my government.
I once more take my leave.
Okay, awesome. So we got a lot of good scenes today on top of the monologues. So once again, I wanted to remind everybody that I'm not going to be available next Saturday, so we're going to go dark with Wheel of Shakespeare then. It's I've been looking forward to this. It's a web series that a friend of mine, Vanessa Evans, we've performed together on stage several times around here, and she had this idea. She's going to do it for as a web series that she'll put on YouTube and or wherever. She's going to pick it up as like a prequel to Wicked. She calls it Green Girl Diaries. And so, having worked with me, she's cast me and double cast me as Elphaba's dad and also as Dr. Dillamond. So I'm looking forward to that. A week from today is the first day we're shooting that, the scene where drop Elphaba and her sister off at college. So hope people watch my channel I'll give you updates on that when that's coming up. If anybody else, does anybody else have any other announcements of stuff like that upcoming before we go? If not, again, I'll see you 2 weeks from now. In addition to whatever comes up on the wheel, we'll do that Henry V scene, and I'm probably good news. It gives me 2 weeks to work with it and see if I can do the same thing I did with the Macbeth scene. I think that was good that with the way with condensing some parts, we shared the scene pretty equally between the 5 people that came into that. I'm going to try to do that as much as I can in that scene, which the way it's written, the king pretty much dominates. So I look forward to seeing you guys 2 weeks from today when we do that scene plus whatever comes up on the wheel. We'll see you guys then. Take care now. Bye.